The U.S., I think, would most definitely be seen as villains at this point in the timeline.
I don't know.
Well, we bombed a neutral city to...
It depends on the...
That's true.
It depends on what's going on with, you know, the stuff that was happening inside the USSR and the German Reich at this time.
But we killed, like, a lot of Ukrainian civilians to dislodge that SS platoon. It would definitely be a controversial move at the very least.
Certainly.
Very controversial.
I'm just saying, if real history is any guide, the nations that have been being fought had their own specters.
Yeah, no, that's true.
To deal with.
What is the terrain here? It's just plains. Why are they holding out so... Okay. It is von Kluge, so... You know, there's that. But he's surrounded. Alright. Some harsh fighting going on in the Alps up here near Milan. Do they hold any other major cities that are holding us up along the front line? Because if so, we can go ahead and pull the same tactic again. Oh, is this a Norwegian volunteer division? Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Norway! Bad Brianna was not here to cheer on Norway. Yeah, to say the least, I think that this version of World War II that we have fought would be less able to be presented as a good versus evil narrative than the World War II that happened in the real world.
Shoot, I'll just say it less accurately able. The World War II that happened in the real world, I don't think
simply
that's a
because we've been so
issue.
judicious with nuclear armament in situations where it was debatably
that last one is
matter
the
of
only
time.
one you could argue crossed the line, I think.
Oh, come on.
Had Germany still been in the war, I have no doubt that Truman would have debated, at least.
Oh, yeah. It would have been a debate.
Dropping it on Berlin.
Yep. Or threatening to drop it if they didn't capitulate. Which is really what nuclear weapons have been since 1945, is a threat/deterrent, yeah.
A deterrent.
Yep. If we can just break through here, we can cut off a huge number of divisions. And overrun. Overrun their lines. Do we have some... Oh, cool! We have armor divisions! Yes! You guys could not have gotten to the front line at a better time. I'm sure our tank hunters that we went out of our way to research are paying dividends right now. Alright, so everybody in this general area, just focus on overrunning this pocket. That will cause significant German casualties. Without a doubt. People calling to nuke them to the Stone Age, of course.
That's about already done.
Yeah. And the Russians are regaining some land. Yeah, that's true. They're bigger now than they were at the end of the war with the Soviets.
And they're welcome to it.
Yeah. They'll have to give back anything that belonged to any of the Allied nations at the end of the war, but like Poland and stuff. But anything Axis controlled will be up for grabs based on who had the biggest war contribution. So, all right. So we ran two huge German pockets. Let's see what our casualty numbers. German Reich has lost 5.3 million.
Goodness.
Russian Federation already 1.84, but that might include the Soviet casualties from earlier in the war. We've lost 500,000, which is a lot if you consider that even today the population of the U.S. is only 300 million.
Well, what this
350,
fictional World War II is it's going to end up costing the United States as many lives as the rest of its armed conflicts combined is about where it's going to land.
It's also made us more of a global hegemon and
this is
set a precedent of aggressive use of nuclear force.
This is basically in this timeline the United States is global king.
Well, and we started off our campaign by making democracy mandatory in the Americas. So there's a reason we called it the American Imperialism run.
Yep, we rule the world. The UK is little brother.
Yep.
France is littler brother.
But yeah, well, actually, they own a lot of Spain, so they're not that little. I think they might end up having to give that back to the democratic Spaniards afterwards, but we'll see how that goes.
Nuremberg going to fall.
Where's Nuremberg?
It's encircled. You were just over it.
Oh, was I?
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Oh, yep, there it is. Here they have nice courthouses.
They do.
Or one might hold some trials. Certain war criminals. Didn't have to nuke it, so that's nice. See, at this point, that would actually be a viable strategy, is to be like, hey, you know, hi, Nazi-controlled city, we're going to drop a nuke on you if you don't surrender, so just march out with your hands up. Like,
oh, and that'd be an effective
it'd be extremely
strategy.
effective, yeah. Their infrastructure in Frankfurt is destroyed. They're not getting really any supplies from there. Berlin is big enough that it might still be... Yeah, we took out a lot of anti-aircraft. We took out their radar, damaged their airbase. I forgot to check the population beforehand to see how many people we killed. I'm sure it was a lot. Not that I'm bragging. The many things we have to brag about in this war, civilian casualties is not one that I would want to...
because we know
they've
probably been pretty egregious.
Yeah. Oh, the Australians landed some Marines in Estonia and opened up a little pocket there, took over the port, took over the airfield. So, you know, those Anzac guys still bossing it up.
Completely independently, which
is
hilarious.
Just like they have like their own command structure and they're just kind of doing their own thing and kicking ass. Like that's been the whole war so far. I also don't know why the Commonwealth forces keep making these like snake-like pushes without taking the time to actually properly surround. Actually, since we've already nuked Berlin, I guess we can just try to capture it at this point. There's enough Allied troops in this area that I don't need to worry about covering the front line. So let's just make a big push for Berlin. With everything in this general area. We want to be the ones. American tanks, American boots. First to Berlin.
Heck yes.
The Soviets are bombing the crap out of them.
The Russians, there are no more Soviets.
For the Russians, yeah, that's right. The free Russians. Damn straight they are. Alright. So we're going to replace our T-20 tanks with Pattons. I'm going to put a bunch of armor, main gun, upgrade the engines, going all out. Yeah, let's... Yeah, Patton Mark 1. That's a good as name as any. I don't want to take his name off of it because he's done well for us during this war. So those upgrades will slowly start to trickle in. We'll still be using T-20s for most of our divisions for the rest of the war, but...
the rest of the war being...
Yeah.
It's over.
I'm actually going to select even more troops for the push on Berlin.
Yeah, this is done, y'all.
We just want to end it. End it already. Italy. Oh, we might still have to deal with Italy. Well, I know one way to deal with Italy. Where's our airplane?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We're on Rome on a
No.
most historic
No, of course
city on
not.
Earth. Oh.
Of course not. Rome is occupied. We don't need to bomb it.
I was going to say.
Oh no, it's not. All right. Yeah. All right. This is revenge.
Goodbye, Colosseum.
If you know anything about me, yeah, this is revenge for the Gallic Wars, for imperialism in general. Against the free peoples of Europe. I know that the Roman Empire hasn't existed for a good long while now, but I'm going to ignore that fact for the remainder of this stream. And that the Italian people were themselves, in many cases, not a large fan of Rome. Come on, let's go. Destroying cultural heritage.
Probably the most historic city in Europe, but... Well, not probably, definitely.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to actually argue that there's another one. And I even say that as someone who's not a big fan of the Roman Empire.
Paris is the only other one that come close, I would think.
Yeah, and Paris has not been around for nearly as long. Alright. So from the airfield outside of Florence, when are our bombers going to get here? Does not say. Okay. Still on the way. Come on.
It's a shame we can't send threats. I'd like to see that in an expansion or something. Like, hey, I'm going to nuke you. How do you feel about that?
Yep. No template. For modern tanks. Oh! Because modern tanks are different from medium tanks. Alright, well, we'll add some modern tanks onto our existing divisions. Because we don't really have time to make a whole new one. And it's time to drop a bomb on Rome. And on Naples. And on Palermo for good measure, just to make sure they surrender quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Carthage? Nah, we'll leave Carthage alone.
What a bloodbath.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh.
So Naples has 6.3 million before the bomb. Palermo had 4.5. Atomic bombing of Rome. A nuclear explosion struck the city of Rome today. Shocking. Let me guess, because of game mechanics, Mussolini survives. Due to its historical and artistic treasures. Whoops. Many had never thought the ancient city would be the target of such indiscriminate destruction. Sorry. With the Vatican City also partially destroyed and the whereabouts of the Pope unknown. How bad are you going to try to make me feel about this? The event has horrified not only Italians, but Catholics around the world. I am thinking maybe the U.S. might not come out of this war with an intact
you might have basically just
structure.
turned into the Nazis.
Rome's rapid growth in the past decade has been nearly completely undone by the attack. For a while, it looked like the city could aid the nation's recovery after the war was over. Those hopes have now been turned to dust, along with many people. So that killed about 2 million people.
Yeah, I would say this timeline's United States has lost the ability to compare themselves favorably with the regimes it defeated.
Yeah.
History will not remember this.
How close is Italy to capitulating, though? Because they can't be... Okay, yeah.
Close.
They're actually both of the remaining Axis powers are very close to capitulating. I don't think dropping a second bomb on Berlin would do anything, so we're not going to do that. But we are going to try to push forward and take it.
Even hypothetically doing that to Rome was a little painful. Like,
yeah.
Oy.
Well, they have to throw in the little bit about the Pope being missing. It's like, wow, guys. Berlin has fallen. I don't think we'll get the event because Fall of Berlin has happened already with a different nation. Oh, probably it paused because we're getting ready for a peace screen here. I think that was it. It's just calculating. Nope, not yet. Okay.
Just
Late game lag. German Reich has capitulated. Alexander Kerensky. We're the ones that took Berlin. Cowardly, the German nation could no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of Russian forces. The German government chose to flee the country and has gone into exile. Their main forces have capitulated. The Russian Federation is now in control of their home area. Though the war against what remains of the Axis continues elsewhere, this is a great victory for all the Allies.
Finish Italy.
Yeah. Dwight. Let's clean this up. No divisions assigned. There we go. Fall of Berlin. Soviet. It's not Soviet because they're not Soviets anymore. After encircling the city, the Americans stormed it from several different directions, with the German defenders resisting furiously every step of the way. American troops finally fought their way across the Moltke Bridge and into the Reichstag. Actually, I think the Reichstag was probably blown up.
Yeah.
Fighting room by room until they reached the roof where the American flag was raised over the city. The Battle of Berlin is over. I wish that the event text would recognize whose troops actually moved into the city and not just whose front it was, yeah. Of course, that would lead to some funny things like New Zealand winning the Battle of Berlin.
Kiwi troops
the
raised
New Zealand
the Kiwi flag.
was raised over the Reichstag.
Zealand! Sweet ass!
Sweet as indeed. What do they even have left?
Africa. And what's left of the boot.
Yeah, let's just end this. There's a city. Oh, we don't have air superiority over there.
Yeah, but let's see if this can be finished here.
Yep, we're just gratuitous use of nuclear force. Italy has capitulated. Like, shit, really? Okay, great news. Russia actually got more points than us in that war. Okay, so make demands. Can we gain any territory? Okay, yeah, we could take all these islands from Japan, which is what we wanted to do. So definitely all these Pacific islands that we have claims on, we'll go ahead and take.
You missed one down there.
Did I?
Yep, still green it looks like to me.
Oh. Yeah, I clicked on the airfield and it didn't count as a click. We can't take Okinawa.
It's sweet as, actually, was what they say. Just AS.
We can't really consolidate our gains in the north. Do we want anything in Europe?
Do we?
To
be honest with you, I think that...
Let's take Ostpreußen. Why not? Oh yeah, we have a lot of points left. Sure, Schleswig-Holstein. We'll We'll go ahead and do the West German thing that the U.S. kind of did in real life. Actually, let's just take Hanover if we can afford it, and we can't also take Thuringia. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll end our turn. And then we have 103 points. We could take Wester Ems and Westfalen. And there we go. And turn. And turn.
Dang.
How many points do we have left? A lot, apparently. And turn. And turn.
There's nothing left.
How about
Spanish Africa?
Why not? Take Sicily. We just take. Well, what's this over here? Nothing really important. Doesn't look like. Oh yeah, we can take some. We take some African provinces off of Italy. I just want to see how big we can get the U.S. borders. Let's just for the hell of it. And we're generating a lot of world tension here, so we might end up having an alliance against us at some point. Probably Venice is what's costing us way too many points. Okay, so we'll leave like the Verona region to them. Sure. I think that's all we can take, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Wish I hadn't done that, because now we're not connected to... It's not all connected up. Okay, done.
And that's it. We're at peace.
I think... Alright, Yugoslavia took 8 states. Whoa! Yugoslavia. Legionnaire Bulgaria took 1. Greece took 1. United States took 31. SPD has been put in power in Germany. And we did block the Soviets from taking over...
the Russians.
Yeah.
We
Russians,
destroyed the Soviet Union.
PNL, Democratic Party, has been put in power. Romania and Japan. The non-aligned Kuomintang has been put in power in China. Spanish Empire has been returned to a monarchist state, I believe. Although, there's Franco still hanging out in Zaragoza. Democratic Popular Party in Italy. Democratic Party in Hungary. Democratic government in everywhere.
The world has been made safe for democracy.
We liberated all the allies. So this is the new world map. We have the United States of West Germany, the United States of East Germany, the United States of Kaliningrad Oblast. Of course, we wouldn't call it that. The United States of most of Italy, the United States of Sardinia, the United States of
Spanish Africa,
Quechua. We have, let's see, the United States of most of Siberia, the United States of Kola. We have the United States of the Black Sea, the United States of the Ural Sea, and of course the United States of America. That is how things shake out. Actually, that was just an experiment. I'm going to go ahead and give this territory, not back to Japan, because we still want to keep those islands, but I'm going to give the European nations back their territory, because that's probably what we would do after the end of the war.
probably.
And it's going to take a while to compute all those province ownership changes, it looks like. Well, we might have crashed the game. Let's find out.
There you go, Russia.
Yeah, yep. Oh, man.
Whirr.
Yes, a lot of history was lost in our atomic bombing.
Oh,
It's funny that some people were encouraging us to nuke more, and then some people were bemoaning the great losses to art and culture that would result from that. Do I need to unpause to get that to go into effect? Okay, well, we might have just crashed the game, but I think that is where we're going to stop on good old Harry S. Truman's smiling face here. He's very happy with himself and the nuclear fire that he rained down upon all the nations of the Eurasian continent. Victory for democracy. We didn't finish off fascist El Salvador. I feel bad for people that were rooting for that, but
the El Salvadorian menace lurks another day.
Yeah, but thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll probably be streaming some more Hearts of Iron 4, probably a co-op game of some kind in the near future. We also have our Stellaris Galactic Chronicles stream next Monday.
2 Mondays a month.
And we're also going to be streaming some other stuff. I really do want to get back to Total War at some point here. And our Let's Plays are going to be beginning in earnest with Soma on our YouTube channel.
Here soon.
Yeah, actually, that did not just crash the game. That seems to have locked up my entire computer. I think the CIA, the secret CIA operatives of 1948, nuclear hegemonic USA, decided that they didn't want me giving all that territory back to the Russians, and they locked up my computer. Yeah, well, our Twitter is Loresworn Order. I'm AsaTJ on Twitter.
I'm at DM Schmeier on Twitter.
At DM Schmeier, and check out loresworn.com, which would all be up for you on a nice little splash screen if it weren't for the fact that
we just nuked
nuked the whole... Our computer got nuked, in addition to all the nuking that we did. And I actually think I'm going to have to disconnect the Ethernet cable to stop the stream, because I can't even get the Control-Alt-Delete screen to come up. But hopefully you can still hear us. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. That was fun.
Yep.
Gee.